Good morning to all of you. In the law of torts, today let's discuss the topic nuisance. Nuisance is of two kinds. One is public nuisance and the second one is private nuisance. The first fundamental point I want to tell you is nuisance can be filed as a case of tort. Nuisance can be filed as a case of civil nature. And nuisance can be filed as a case of criminal nature also. Or in all these three folders, you can fix up the case. If you want to seek it very seriously, you can go for crime. If you want to get any injunction or compensation, you can go for civil case. And of course, if you want that it is only a silly matter, if you think that it is a silly matter, you can go for a case of tort. Right. First of all, let's know what is a nuisance. Broadly defining, nuisance is an unlawful interference in the right of enjoyment of a particular person. Suppose if you interfere with the proper, reasonable enjoyment of the right of a person and disturb him and cause annoyance to him, it is called nuisance. According to Pollack, nuisance is the wrong done to a man by unlawfully disturbing him in the enjoyment of his property, of course the whole thing is property, or in smoke cases in the exercise of common right. Of course now smoke cases are not there because the old people, he has given the definition like this. Actually this word nuisance is derived from the French word nure, N-E-R-E, means to hurt or to annoy. So better you know what is annoy. Annoyance means it is a state of irritation. It is a state of exasperation. It is a state of vexation. It is a state which creates anger to the other person. Right? So this is if you interfere with the lawful right of any other person and create the so-called annoyance, it is what is called nuisance, that is inconvenience. Right? So normally please remember the essentials for nuisance. Already you know, nuisance is unlawful interference with the plaintiff's use of land. Yes, of course, in trespass we will discuss in detail. But if you enter the land of another and disturb the area, it is also nuisance, right? Then, sometimes it may not affect the complainant or the plaintiff directly. It may affect through consequential or indirect means. Suppose if the vibrations are there, if I am telling the class, if you hear the sounds of the nearby train, then definitely that sound of the passing vehicles, definitely the vibrations will cause annoyance. They will not be visible, just like smoke or smell, noise, gas, etc. All these things are through them also the so-called nuisance is caused. Simple example is high volume of the cable, that is the TV, disturbing the neighbors from your house. Second is the branches of trees protruding from the other's portion. Suppose the other man, he installs or he erects a plant and the branches, if they hang over to other area and if they cause a disturbance, definitely it is a nuisance. And most important, injurious gases from the factory spreading in the vicinity of the area. When that Helen's smelting company case in private nuisance, I think comes, I will tell you in detail about the so-called environmental pollution. Right? So please remember, it is divided into two nuisances. Today we will discuss about public nuisance. Separately we will discuss about private nuisance. So public nuisance means where the nuisance is caused to more than one person, that is public in general, simply to say public in general, or if the injury, due to the injury, the annoyance is suffered by the whole community as a whole rather than by individual person, it is called public nuisance. Right? So please remember, in public nuisance, digging a trench on the public path and accumulating the sand, soil, stones in the streets while constructing the houses, you may be seeing all these things. Then constructing structures on the footpath, this is also a winter bottom case, I will tell you later. Then pouring polluted gases, liquids in the tanks, it's very dangerous. And in the tanks, canals or in the undergrounds also, and environmental pollution. So please remember MC Mehta case. I will give you two or three examples in this case laws. Number one is Dr. Ramdas Singh versus Babulal 1982. Right. Dr. Ramdas Singh, as I said, he is a doctor. He has started a clinic. The defendant Babulal, he has erected a brick grinding factory by the side of this hospital. So, due to the brick manufacturing, the dust spread into the vicinity and used to fall on the so-called patients who visited the area, and actually hearing the sound also, they were afraid to come to the hospital, and there was a loss to the doctor. So the matter went up to the High Court. Allahabad High Court ordered the defendant to pay damages and also to shift the brick grinding machine to some other place. Good case. Second, Campbell versus Paddington. Paddington is a corporation in the UK versus Paddington, 1911. Right. So Mr. Campbell, he was the owner of a building. So on 1911, I think, King Edward VI died, and the funeral procession will go on. The funeral procession will go on in front of his house. So he erected some chairs and other things. He asked the neighbors to come and see the funeral procession on payment of money. So he arranged like that. But incidentally, the Paddington Corporation, they have erected a pandal in front of his house, due to which all the people, the passing people, they gathered, and they have, the pandal was at a higher place, and the people who stood having purchased the tickets and who sat in the chairs, they could not see. Of course, he was annoyed, and he filed a case against municipal corporation, stating that they have created nuisance by erecting the pandal and the people gathering there. But the Privy Council actually, of course, they stated that due to the statute authority or corporation rules, yes, they can construct the so-called pandal or structure because municipality is authorized. So he cannot get any damages, or it cannot be any public nuisance because of the statutory authority. So now Winterbottom versus Lord Derby, 1857. Actually happened is the defendant said, Lord Derby means the government. So the government's agent, he blocked a public footpath. He blocked a footpath or erection of something. So the plaintiff filed a suit of public nuisance, alleging that he had to take up another path, not this path. But of course, the court held that due to this, no others will suffer except him, but for the public good, somebody should suffer. Therefore, it is not a public nuisance. Right? Then we have to think about the exceptions. So, statutory authority, exceptions to the statutory authority, because the statute gives power to the government to do anything. Benjamin versus Storm, 1874. So in this case, Benjamin was running some shop on the national highway. His business was very good because a lot of vehicles were going on. He earned good profits. But on some occasion, the traffic authorities, the traffic police, diverted the traffic to some other way. So the vehicles did not touch his shop, and he sustained heavy loss. So therefore, he filed a case against the so-called Storm, stating that due to the diversion of the traffic, his business has sustained heavy loss. But the court held that due to the with the statute authority, the traffic people with some good intention can do something. So it cannot be a nuisance, and he has no right to file any compensation against the state. Likewise, another case, of course, a petty case of noise pollution was booked against the principal of a convent in West Maridapalli, where she allowed the youngsters or the students to perform dance and music on the anniversary celebrations, which was with high decibels of sound. They called the DJ, and due to this, normally a person can hear about 20 or 25 decibels of sound, but he has gone up to 80, and the entire colony people, they have represented the police. The police booked a case against the principal for allowing them under public nuisance. Section 3 of the Town Nuisance Act, they have booked. So anyway, this is briefly regarding the public nuisance, and please refer the cases and study well, because internal exams are coming fast. Thank you.